So we already have our end panels here, cut to size. We know again that we're getting an outside corner on that edge. We're getting scribe on this edge, so we have that leeway on both edges. I'm gonna start here up top. Dry fit it first. Make sure that since we have light valance and there's nothing going on the bottom, that when we put it on, we're perfectly flush on the bottom to the cabinet. So, get our glue out. That and good. Just go around and hit all those face nails where I have molding covering them up. And that panel's secure. The toe kick is what we refer to as the 1/4 inch piece that's going to go behind your base molding to keep all that the same color. Here with the shaker, we have a small 1/4 round base, which is only 3/4 of an inch tall, so we needed something to take up that gap. You'll see that when we have the old base there, we don't have the ability to scoot that all the way in. Best thing to do there is take a multi-tool, which is this tool right here with a cutoff blade, and you just use a piece of 1/4 inch as a template for cutting that base away. We just hold that against there, cut along there. Might need a blade or a 5-in-1 or something to kick that small little piece loose down there. Take your spare piece of 1/4 inch, make sure that you can slide in behind that base, and we're good to go for toe kick there. Now this is our outside the box 2 1/4 inch shaker crown. We already got that cut to almost size. We'll get here and we'll mark it so we can trim it down. Easiest for crown, you want to mark it where it's sitting in case the cabinet is at all not square. You don't want to end up marking it here in the middle and then find out that your cabinet tapers in by the edge. Holding it as flush to the face as possible. You just go ahead and line my pencil up with the edge of that 1/4 inch panel and put a mark there. The side piece looks good. Now here's our outside the box, outside corner. It's going to be your corner cap molding. Cut to size, tight to the counter, flush to the bottom of the cabinet, ready to go. If you want to, you can glue this, but a decent amount of pen nails on each side does the trick. If you do glue it, you'll want to be careful that when you put your beads of glue on there, they're just small beads. If you put a lot of glue on there, it'll seep out and you'll have aesthetic problems later on. Just go ahead and start by holding it secure and starting on all 4 corners, and then seeing where you have areas that are pulling away. Those are the spots you want to nail. Helps to do that because you can mitigate the amount of nails that you're putting in there. Here is the outside the box Scribe. It's got flat edge on one side, beveled edge on the other. The flat edge is going to go against the wall, and it's got enough of a give to it where you can really press it against the wall, closing as much of the gap as possible. Nice and flush to the bottom there. And we'll just start by going bottom, top, and at every nail hole I got my 2 fingers on the outside there pressing into the wall, minimizing that gap. All right, so that's crown's finished or ready to go. And I highly recommend, if you do have 2 people around, to go ahead and nail together your miters before you install it, and just have somebody around that can kind of hold that miter together while you nail it. And then you can let that sit for a second until it's all dried up. That way later on, when you're putting it on, that miter will hold and you know it's as good as it could possibly be. As long as your miters are nailed together, your crown is going to be structurally stable enough to be able to put in with bigger pin nails, which is nicer later on for the touch-up techniques. And just nicer overall instead of having large brad nails. One person on one end, the other person holding it at the miter. Get it as tight to the ceiling as possible. And going down the piece at every point, pressing it as tight to the cabinet and the ceiling as you can. Dealing with crown going above the ceiling, you can expect to have some bows or some gaps. With the white, you can always caulk it. Many of the tinted lacquers you can caulk and paint over later. Squeeze that in there. And we'll be able to fill and touch up the miters later on. Now with these miters, if you do not know how to miter, I highly recommend that you find a friend or anything like that that does have experience with cutting miters like this to come over and help you out, even do it for you. These are the only difficult cuts in these kitchens and they really set the kitchen off. So we are ready for toe kick. 3.5. So we know that the base is going to be covering the bottom edge and the base is 3/4 inches tall. So we can actually make that 3.5, 3 3/8. Gives us that leeway. So we know that our piece is going to fit. So I'm going to have to splice that one. Your pieces will only come, the maximum measurement you'll have is 96.5. That one's 99 3/4. So I know that I'll have to make that in 2 pieces. All right, these pieces of molding I want nice and flush to the bottom of the cabinet as they butt into the crown.